Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So today in this video we are going to take a look at this very small mini water pump. I got this from Amazon and they came in a pack of 4. So this is one out of the packaging. As you can see, this is how they look. There is an output and there is an input, so you can connect some tubing here and you can pump water using this pump. This is very small. If you want to compare the size of this pump, here I've got a AA size battery and you can see the pump is indeed very small. If you compare the thickness, you can see the thickness is just about the thickness of the AA size battery. So there is that. Now we talk about the connections. You can see that it came with this pre-installed wire, and at the end it is terminated into this very small 2-pin connector. I don't have this connector with me, so I'm going to be connecting directly wires here. Now when I got this pump, if you are interested in this pump, be prepared that the wiring connection that were on these pump was not very great. So when I started using them or started testing them, the first pump started working, the second one didn't work, the third one didn't work, and the fourth one also did work. The problem was the connection at the end was very poor. It was, as you can see in here, you can't clearly see because there is a shrink wrap. The solder and the wire was completely broken, so I had to remove the heat shrink, resolder them, and then all of the pumps started working. So there is something that I wanted to tell you if you are interested in this pump. And if you look at the printing on the pump, you can see that this is a 5-volt pump, and this is from a website called TCS Tech, although I got this from Amazon, but this was written on this pump, so there is that. And here is some readings on the motor as well. So let me just connect some wire here. Right, so before we connect any wire to this pump, let us start connecting some air tubing. So as you can see, this is a typical size aquarium tube, which is typically 4.5 to 6 millimeter inner diameter. So as you can see, this is very small, and the aquarium tubing, which is why I bought this pump for, was very loose on this one. So what I had to do was I had to find some tubing which is with the inner diameter 3 millimeter. I couldn't find in my local market or on the internet, or the one that I could find was very expensive. So what I had to resort to was this. This is a normal typical IV tubing, intravenous tube that you can buy from the internet as well. It's not very expensive. So let me just open one. This is what they use in hospitals to put you on drip or give your body intravenous fluids. So let me just open this. There we go. So here is the tube. So this part is basically connected onto your wrist here, where the butterfly, whatever that called, is connected. The needle is connected, and this part is then inserted in the IV bottle, whichever fluid the hospital or the doctor staff is using. Anyways, the tubing that they have used is perfect for this. This is about 3 millimeter internal diameter. So to use the tubing, we have to obviously cut this tube from here. We've got, let's see how long tube we can get, and then we can remove this. This is basically used for controlling the flow. You can completely remove this. So looks like we can get a decent amount of cable. I'm gonna cut this filter as well. There we go. And then finally on this end we've got about this length of cable, tubing, which is what I'm gonna be cutting as well. Right, so now that we've got all the cuttings done, let us connect this tubing and let's see how well this IV tube fits in there. So starting from here, let me just connect it here. So as you can see, it fits the pump really well, like it was designed for this pump only. Let me put the another end as well. Right, now that we've got both the ends connected, let us connect some wire here. So I've got an alligator clip here. Let me just connect the positive to the positive, which is the red. The positive is now connected. Let's connect E negative, which is the black one. So I've got a black alligator clip. The negative is also now connected. The pump says it is capable of running on 5 volts. Now that the alligator clips are connected, let's connect our USB cable. So I've got this broken USB cable here. On one end, I've got a USB connector here, which is we will connect to our power supply. And on the other end, I've got this bare wire here. So there are a couple of wires, as you can see, red, blue, green, white. So I have tested this before, and I know that on this particular cable, the red one is the positive one. So let's connect the positive end of our pump to the positive cable there. let's connect the negative terminal of our pump to the negative, which is the black on our USB cable. Okay, now that our wiring connection is done, let me connect this into a power bank. So I've got a power bank here. So let me connect our USB cable to the power bank, and the pump should start working then. As you can probably hear, the pump is now running. Let me bring the mic closer to the pump. So this should give you an idea how much noise this pump is producing. So let us bring in a container of water. Let's see how it pumps water. Alright, so here I've got a container of water. So let me take the two ends from here. I'm not sure which one is the output, which one is the input, but we should know once we put this inside water. Dip in one end. As you can see, the water is now circulating through the tube, and we have the pump pumping. So as you can see, the flow rate is very little, and the water flow is also not smooth. It is a little choppy. Let me put in a small clip to hold the input. So as you can see, this is the output of this pump, and as you observe that we did not have to fill this tube with water before. The pump is self priming. It will pump water on its own. And when it is working, the noise of the pump is barely hearable. So let me bring in the mic again closer to the pump. So that was the noise of this pump when the pump is on load. And if you're interested, this is the amount of power the pump is taking at 5 volts. As you can see, it's taking 130 milliamperes from a 5 volt power supply when the pump is running. Alright guys, now to measure the pumping capacity of this pump, I've made this a small contraption here. So I've got this tub filled with some water, and I've attached a scale to this wall here. As you can see, I've only been able to extend this to about 100 centimeter, which is close to 3 feet height. Let's see at what height this pump is able to pump the water here. So the input of the pump is there, which is sitting under the water, and I've got the output here, which is what I'm gonna hold in my hand. We'll see whether this is able to pump this water from the bottom to about a distance of about 100 centimeter, which is close to a little more than 3 feet distance. So let me just turn the pump on now. Pump is now on. Let's see. As you can see, the water is climbing, and we are at a height of about 100 centimeters. You can see there 100 centimeters. Let me take it a little higher. As you can see, it is still able to pump the water. We are about in height of about 4 feet, and I've literally run out of the tube that I had. But this is not really usable, but you can see the pump is very capable, and it is capable of self priming even at this height. So you don't have to fill the tube with water. The pump is capable of sucking water and pumping the water to this height. If I decrease the height a little bit, let's say about 60 centimeter or 50 centimeter, which is half a meter, you can see the water flow is quite usable for very small applications. So there you go. This was the testing of this pump, whether this pump is capable of pumping water to a meter height or not, and it does. Alright guys, so now let us talk about the last thing regarding this pump, which is the durability of this pump. So if you were to run this pump continuously without stopping, how long the pump can actually run without failing. So when I first got this pump and started using this, I noticed that after running this pump for about 20 to 30 minutes, the motor was getting a little hot. So I thought the pump is not going to be as durable. So to test the durability, what I did about 6 days ago is that I started this setup, and this pump is running for about 6 days continuously non-stop, day and night. There may have been a couple of power cuts, but other than that, this pump is running continuously for 6 days. And so far, the pump hasn't failed on me. Now, if I touch the motor now, the motor is again still a little warm. And mind you that we are in the hottest days of the summer, so again that could also contribute the temperature of the motor. But if it can survive this heat running 6 days continuously, I think the durability is of this pump is going to be fine. But as with many other things in life, it's very difficult to predict how long a particular thing will last, so it's very difficult for me to tell you about the future. Anyways, this was my test of this small mini pump. I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.